how to find out how to dsum, decount calculator, and VLookup with choose parameter. You have to want this parameter. Yes, I will share it with my screen. Here you can see that order ID, quantity, unit cost, and total cost. These all are the option is available. Then dsum and decount more operator is also available from your side. Dsum, database sum, decount, database count. This all are the option available. For example, if I am putting here some value parameter is dsum, database function is a dsum. When the number of field column that record in a list and database the match conditional that you want to specify this, you have to put out this value with a dsum. Dsum is automatically sum this value, but yes, it is a database sum this value. Database sum this value, it means that what here have a dsum have a three criteria. First is database, second is field, third is criteria. Database is required, field is required, criteria is required, because no parameter, no single parameter is in square bracket. So all the parameter is required from your side. Database is what? The range of the cells mix up with the list or database. List with database, order ID, order date, mix with database. Field. Field is required indicate the column is used in the function. Each column enclosed with a double quoted age field. You can put out here database hold the field name. This is called as a field. And criteria, you want to give the specific criteria from numeric criteria, textual criteria. You have to put out this criteria with using this criteria field. Now, criteria is only one. Field is a hold the field. Field, it's been that here is our order ID, it's field. Order name is field. This is all are the field name, and database. This is a hold the database. It's a our language, we can see the array of the parameters. So you can put out this value. Now you can see here, we have a two criteria. This is our example, tree heights and age. dsum A4 to E10. A4 to E10. This is whole are what database. Now profit. Profit is our whole the database filled. And A1 to A2, A1 to A2, this is all are the criteria. It's mean that any value is apple or pear. We want to profit value total. Apple here we this value is 105. Pear is 96, 75 and 76. A1 and A2, it's our criteria. This is your criteria. A1 to F2 is your criteria. Here is a first and second field are same, but the total profit is you can see here the profit from the apple tree is height between 10 to 16. Greater than is height is greater than 10 and 16. You can see here you can put out the multiple criteria here. A1 to F2, this is whole the criteria. It means that first criteria is apple, height is between 10 to 16, greater than 10, less than 16. So you have to put out this value. Height is greater than 16. Yes, this is a profit is the yes, profit value total. This is A4 to A10. First it is apple. This is our criteria. Height is greater than 10, less than 16. 18 is not allowed. Greater than 10, yes, 96 it's allowed or not, because height is only for apple height. Apple tree with height. Pear tree with not any heights, and the criteria is A1 to F2. A1 to F2, not the pear. Pear is not included here. Then here is apple greater than 10, 15. Yes, 75 here is not allowed because it's not a greater than 10. So it will value is not allowed from our side. So this will be not included from your side. This will be not included from your side. It will be only included from the other values. We have to do this example, and we can create your own example also. We can do any with this example. We can do anything with this example. So we can do this example. For example, if I'm putting here, this is order ID, quantity, unit cost, and total cost. For example, if I'm putting the dsum value, unit cost, and A1 to B2 is your criteria. the sum value, the sum, then database. This is whole are your database. Field name is your matching this value unit cost. You can put out the unit cost here. So you can write down the value unit underscore cost this value. And criteria is this one is your criteria order ID, quantity, unit cost, and total cost. Order ID is greater than 105. 10567, it's mean that 10568 105 is a but and quantity is greater than 60 because 7 the 8 and 9 unit cost is 12 12 12. It's all about the 36 value. This is 36 value, it's a unit cost. If I'm putting the criteria, you have to total filled and criteria, you have to put this is a total cost. For example, here you have to put the total cost. This is all are the database, but you can see same name is applicable here because otherwise else it will be errors creating with your data. So it will be not perfectly with your data. The sum is 288 and this sum is 288. Now it will be matched with your site. So you can easily match this value. Now I will point out the quantity also. I will put here quantity and I put the here the quantity also greater than 6 and for example less than 9. For example less than 9 because less than 9 it's not equal to 9 will be included in this parameter, so you cannot include this parameter. You can include only 7 and 8 parameter. Now you have to change your criteria, particularly A1 to D2, not A1 to this parameter. You can include this parameter also and you have to put out this value here. Now you can see the total is 180 and both the value is 180. So you have to put out the between value parameter with using of particular greater than 6 and less than. You have to put the parameter 2 times. So this is useful when you have to put out this parameter. So you have to clear idea about the dsum. Dsum it's a database sum. You can put this value with using of function criteria. This is useful from your side. Okay. Now only one thing is very complicated. Otherwise, else it's a you can say it's a very time consuming from your side. This you have to put out this one. So now in this value we have to do this. We can give this reference also. Yes. Then we can give also reference also. So it will be also working with your side. So if you want to give the reference, otherwise else if you want to give the any value, this is both are the same with your side. Now if the dsum is available at that time, d count is available. You can see d count here is d max, d min also available. D sum is available. D count C's I think so in the yes D count A. You have to know about the difference between D count and D count A. So you have to know about the parameter of the D count and D count A. What is the use of the count and count A? You know about this. This both are the same functionality, but this is work with the database and this is work with the your simple data. That is a mainly difference between your to this. So this is useful from your side. Now we will use the D count. Yes, D count this database field and criteria. For example, here is our database. Field is total cost and criteria. Criteria you put it here all the criteria. This is only 2 parameter because 7 and 8 both are included in this parameter. Other is not included in your parameter. So it will be used from your side. This is only for 2. This is not for 1. So you can use this parameter by using of this one. Only for 2 parameters included that. If I am putting here the criteria, it will be change our criteria. For example, I am changing this criteria. Then you can see here the dsum total value is changed. total is changed, the count is changed, all the value is changed with your side. So this is very beneficial. We have to have a lots of data. We put out the value on this range. We have to do this. D max. D max value. Database field and criteria for maximum of this value. For example, I'm giving from this database. Then field, you want to give this field is total cost. You have to give this total cost. And criteria, you have to put out this criteria. You have to maximum value is 108. Because greater than 6, you have to show here 789. In 789, maximum value total cost is 108. So in the whole the database, on the basis of criteria, you want to put out the value from the value from this. We can put the highest value. This is the max. If I'm using the min value, it's a minimum of this value from this one is database, then field is total cost, then the criteria. Then this one is, for example, your criteria. You have is the minimum value is 84, I think so. So this is called the min value. This is called the max value. You have to put out this value. This is the count value. This is a count number of the count value. You have to find out this value with using of the functionality. So the max, the min, the find out this value is very useful from your side. Whenever the multiple data, multiple criteria here, then you can use this functionality. For example, I'm putting this criteria here. It's a 9, then all the results, all the data is changed. Now you can see here all the database and all the value is changed from your side. Then next is with using of database, with using of this one, what can you do with this database? You can do anything with your database with this functionality. With this functionality, you have to put out this value from this here. So if any value is highlighted on basis of this one, you have to highlight this value on the basis of this one. You have to use the conditional formatting also. On the conditional formatting, highlight the cell rules, value is equal to, for example, value is equal to 96. You have to highlight this value. It will be highlighted, but yes, there is a 296 value, then highlight the both the value. I know about this, but if the value is unique, then you have to put out this value, and for this one, you have to put this value from that way. Now dsum and dcount value is clear from your side. This is very clear. Sheet number 4, we will go with the VLookup. Now, in this example, VLookup is working or not, first you think about that. Because data is right to left, it is not a left to right. So VLookup, first parameter is always data is left to right, not a right to left. So in this parameter, if I am finding the VLookup, first is lookup value. I'm finding XYZ on table array. This is your table array. Column index number, amount is, for example, one number of column, and exact match. This is not a right way to find out. This is a compulsory return the NA, because this is a right to left value, and right to left for any value, it is not a finder properly. So this will be not finder properly. At that time, you can use VLookup with choose function. Yes, choose is working from when you have a table array. At that time, you have to change the number of column number. You have to change this column number. So at that column number, you have to put out the any column number, and you have to working with this column number. So in this example, you have to put the any number with using of this choose function. You have to use this functionality first. What do you mean by the choose functions? We have to first clear about this one. Yes. First is index number. Second is value 1. Third is value 2. Value 1 and value 2 is here. Index number is required because you have to give particular index. What is your first index? What is your second index? You have to give the index. It is required. Specific the index number. You have to give the any index number. Between 1 to 254, you have to give the any index number, then index number 1, and value is 1, value is 2, you have to do this in this parameter. Then for example, first is nail, second is cruise, third is nuts, fourth finish is bolts. Choose the second value A2, A3, A4, A5. Second value. Second value is what? Value from the second argument A3. A3 is your second argument. Is choose. Choose the fourth argument. Fourth argument is this one, B2, B3, B4 and B5. Fourth argument is, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4. So this is pick up the any value on this parameter. You have to give the particular range also, and you have to give the single value also. Both the way you have to work with it is a completely fine. But in this parameter, you have to particular give the any index number. I'll choose the any value on the basis of this one. You have to put this value on the basis of this one. With this value, you have to put this value. Now, what can we do this value? For example, simple example number 2. Simple example number 2, it's a A2, A3, A4, A5. A2, sum from A2. A2, this is our first parameter. Choose the value of 2, A3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4 and choose the values 2 is 45. A2 to A5 is your value and A2 to A5. Then choose the value of the second. Second, it's the last value. The sum is second is A4. Then the range it will be given the 2, 3, 4, 23, 45, 12. The result is 40. 40 is main parameter. It will be used with your side. With your side, this is the starting value is 23 and ending value is, choose this value from 2, 3, 4. Choose this means that whatever pick up the value of any number, you can give the any number in between. You have to choose the particular parameter we can use. Yes, we can give the specific range also. Yes, we can do this in the specific range. Also, you can have to do this value for this parameter also. So you can have to do this parameter. Here is the index number 1. Return the value 1. If it is 2, return the value is 2. If it x number is less than 1 or greater than number, the last value in the list, choose the value error. If it is less than number, you want to give the -1, then it will be error. Index number is fraction is then the lowest integer. It will be choose this value from the lowest number of this value. You have to put out this value on this basis. So now you have to clear this value, this equivalent to this one, B2 to B10. Here is the choose from 2 A1 to sum this value from the 2 A1 to A10, B1 to B10 and C1 to C10. This is range value. You have to put the range. First we will discuss, we have to put the range also. So now you can see here sum value 2. First range is A1 to A10, second range is B1 to B10, third range is C1 to C10, and you have to put out the any value. For example, A1 to A10, B1 to B10 and C1 to C10. You have to do this value from B1 to B10 also. So B1 to B10, this is your second value. You can do with your second value with the sum parameter. You have to do this parameter. So second value is B1 to B10. Here is, you can see here B1 to B10 and you can use this parameter B1 to B10 and sum the particular value. So B1 to B10, this is your total value. You can use this value on the basis of this one. Now you have some Excel example. We have some Excel example. So we can have a easily do this parameter with using of choose parameter also. So we have to do with choose parameter. Yes. Now, first is index number. If I'm putting here 2, for example, value 1, value 2, value 3 for B2. Next value, next argument is the optional argument B2, B3, B4, B5, right? Bracket completed, and this value is XYZ. If I'm putting this 2, for example, on the value of A1, A2, A3, and A4, then the value is A1 is amount, A2 is 18000, it's 18,000. For example, if I am using this choose parameter, index number is 2, example value 1, for example value 1 is A5, then second is A2, third is A3, then next is A1. This is a mismatch argument, you have to want this argument. This is second argument is A2, A2 is 18000, so 18,000 argument is coming from your side. So now you have to clear idea about this one. This is working with different argument also, so you have to do this argument. For example, sum of number, this one, then second you have to use the choose parameter. For example, you have to put the second argument. First is A3, then A4. So A2 to A4, it will be sum this value. Now 2 bracket is completed. Here is a value is 20,000. You have to use this A2 and choose this value is A4. Sum is A2 and A4. It's a 20,000 value. So now you have to clear idea about this one. Why we will use for this parameter or the functionality A2 to A4. A4 is only for value is given from your side. You have to do this your example also. With this sum functionality also, you have to give this functionality with using of this one functionality. This also, this is a second functionality with you. This is your second functionality. If sum is A2 to A4, then what can we do? We can do this one, and this is working with 35,000. This is all our the sum is 35,000. So now you have to clear idea. If I am placing the comma and if I am placing the double quotes, this both are the different value. Both the value will be different way. It will be working with this value. So now you have to clear idea about this. This is a different functionality. This is a different functionality for this one. So you have to do with this functionality. You have to use this functionality. So this is a very useful from your side whenever you can use with different functionality with different files. Now, in this functionality, we have to second way we have to do with VLookup with choose functionality. So this is a very useful when we use the VLookup with this choose functionality. Here you can see here VLookup. First is lookup value. Second, use your table array. In this table array, we will use this functionality. Choose this functionality. Index number. Index number, you have to use this index number, for example, first and second. First number is what? First number is employee. You have to put out this range. Second number is what? Second number is your amount. Now you have to clear idea about the table array. Which one you will be used with table array? You have to give the first is your employee and second is your amount. So both the parameter, it's a very useful from your side is amount and the employee. Employee and amount, both the data is very useful from your side. This is a choose functionality. We will use this choose functionality. Then column and range lookup. This is exact match or approximately match. If I'm putting here the true, this is exact match. If I'm putting here the false, this is approximately match. You know about this idea, you have know this. If I'm putting here the false, if I'm choosing this functionality, this is a column index number. Column index number is you have to do the second column or first column. First is your b1 to b2, and this is if I'm putting your first and then exact match. Now you can see here this functionality is xyz, because xyz, this is your function for first parameter in your table array, and amount, this is your second parameter in your table array. This is, now we will put the second argument, so it will be, make sure that your result is coming, because table array is different, so at that time value will be also different. Now after this value you have to see this parameter. What will the parameter you will be use this parameter with using of this one? You can use this easily parameter with this functionality, so you can do this the choose functionality also, 1 and 2, b1 to b12, a11 to a14. Second number of argument is here, and false parameter is also there, so false value will be written from that side, and we look up with choose parameter is now clear. You have to put out this both the functionality, choose functionality, and amount is now, if I'm putting here AMY at that time, AMY we will clear is AMY XYZ. Here is XYZ 15300. If the value is ABC, then you have to put this value as 2000 value. If I'm putting only A, and that time it will result is wrong. I think so this is not wrong. In the previous session we will discuss here dollar operator and the star operator here. So we want to put this value also, so at that time it's also written the value with using of star or question mark. If you put here to question mark, because all the values coming from 3, then also it will be written result. But if I'm putting only one question mark, it will be not written any result from your side. So this is a very useful when we are putting amount value with this one value. So amount is basically work with this value, so you have to put this value with using of amount value. So function VLookup, choose this parameter, amount this value, amount A, and if I'm putting here the star value, so the result is also coming with your side with this star functionality. And I'm putting here the n parameter, because this is not any single parameters, and is value parameter. You have to add this value parameter. NA, it's mean that not applicable this value, you have to not applicable this value. So I'm putting here only for X, it will find out this value. If I'm putting only value for P, then this will be yes. If the both the name is starting from A, for example AMY and ABC, both the parameter is starting from A, then 18000 parameter is coming from your side. This is only for written the first parameter, it's not written the second parameter. So make sure that both the parameter is coming from the second side value, not the first side value. So it is a useful from your side when the second side parameter is also useful. And so I will also highlight the value. You know about the all the time we will highlight the value. We will select this value, conditional formatting, highlight the cell rules, more rules. If I'm saying top bottom rank value, about average value, unique and duplicate value. If it is unique and duplicate value, cell their base contain value. If cells that contain value, if the cell value is greater than equal to value, at that time we have to put out this value. If the value is 1800, we will not manage rules, we will not give any color, so at that time it will be not a highlighted into color. We will give the highlighted this value, this is a highlighted value. Now you can see here the highlighting the value, for example 1800. If I'm putting here the P, for example, yes, I'm putting here whole the value is ABC, then yes, it's definitely working with this value. It's a 2000 from your side, this is value ABC, this is 2000 your value. Here it's a NA, because here we will put out the only for one question mark. If I put down two question mark, then the value is coming from ABC. Yes, after ABC, not any particular value is here, you have to write down any value, then 2000 value is coming from your side. This is a conditional formatting with using of this value. You have to done with this value, otherwise else you have to do the particular choose functionality with using of VLookup. Now you have clear idea VLookup with different functionality. We will use VLookup with match, we will use VLookup with choose, we use index with match, only index parameter, only match parameter, we can do with everything functionality. Okay friends, then we will discuss